Alright YouTube, so I want to go ahead and show you guys how to do an oil change on this here Makita BHX2500 leaf blower, handheld leaf blower. This is the 4-cycle one. This is the BHX2500, this is the CA, so this is the California model, but any 2500 model this review will work for. So what you will need is a funnel like this, some kind of oil catch pan. It doesn't have to be an actual oil pan. It could be like a cut-out milk carton or anything like that. You'll need 10 weight SAE 10 weight 30. You'll need 2.7 ounces of it, but you can usually just guess it, and it's about the size of what a 2-cycle oil container is. 1 more ounce than that, or one more 0.1 ounce than that. So that's how much you'll be using. So pretty much you can use like remnants of a car oil change, that's fine. And you want to do this oil change every 50 hours. And just like the oil, I have no clue. I don't keep track of how many hours are on this. So I just like to do it once a year or once every year and a half. Whenever I really get around to it. Nobody really checks the oil in these things, to be honest. I got my Hondas, I don't check the oil in those. So I don't check the oil in this, and usually the oil stays right where it goes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now this system is kind of really odd and compared to what I thought it was just kind of engineered weird. So instead of having the dipstick come out like right here, they have this awkward like side mounted dipstick with a 90 on it. So you can see my oil is pretty black, but it's about halfway. Can't really see it, but there's holes on there. You can see where the fluid is filled in. It's about halfway in. So we're still good, but I want to get the oil changed before fall here. Well, it's already fall, but get it changed here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this dipstick out. Comes out pretty easy. You just set it off to the side. Get your oil drain pan and just go ahead and tip it out, just like that. You guys can see. It's good to make sure your gas cap's on nice and tight. But the oil will just flow right out. This stuff is really kind of sludgy and black. There it goes. It's honestly a little bit awkward to get out because of this 90-degree dipstick container thing. Try to change it a whole bunch of different directions. You guys see what I'm kind of doing here. Kind of getting all directions to get all the oil out of it. There we go, like that. There we go. There's a bunch. Now while this is dripping out, a little brief information about these engines. These Makita engines were previously made by Fiji Robin, which is Subaru. And Subaru in 2017, October 2017, sold their outdoors power equipment division that made these engines to Yamaha. So I don't know if you've seen in the recent news about the Yamaha V-twins coming out. Yeah, those are actually old Subaru designs. So not really new engines, but you get the idea. So now that Yamaha owns this, I believe Subaru, when they still owned the production rights for it, they sold this engine off to Makita. So I believe now Makita has full ownership of this design of engine. But I think we got most of the oil out of there. As you can see, literally, it doesn't hold much oil at all. Just a tiny, tiny little bit. And honestly, it's probably low too, but these engines just keep running, so we'll go with it. Clean the dipstick off. Now here's the difficult part. So you're going to tip the engine on its side here. So to get you guys a close-up view of what's going on, just keep the tripod over. You guys can see down the hole. So according to the manual, you see there's a little shelf. When you look straight down, it doesn't go straight down the engine. There's a little shelf right there with a lip on the line. So when you go to fill it up, you want to get it to that shelf, that lip line, and that'll be 2.7 ounces. So theoretically we should just have to get it to that line. Now I'm going to try my best to show you guys. Now don't be alarmed if you overfill it. There's nothing bad is going to happen. You could just drip some right out. These crankcases are pretty well sealed, so no issue there. And you guys saw how little oil came out of the machine, so we're only going to put in a tiny little bit. Just like a splash. You guys can see the little air bubbles are, maybe not now, but little air bubbles kind of dripping away. And it's still not to that shelf yet, so we'll put a tiny little bit more. You want to do this slow because the air bubbles in the engine have to come out. Just a tiny bit more. And maybe you guys can see it, but we're getting pretty close to that shelf. We're almost there. Like I said, it's just about the size of a 2-cycle bottle of 1-gallon engine oil. Of course, you can't use the 2-cycle engine oil in this, but just 10 weight 30. A little bit more. Sure, where I have it would be fine. I'm putting tiny, tiny little pores in there, just so I don't get the big rush of bubbles coming out. Now where I have it is probably good, but we're going to get it exactly on that shelf, hopefully. Okay, so now you guys can see that oil is directly in line with that shelf. If you have one of these, it's kind of hard to visualize it when you don't have one, but you'll see the little ring around it. That's the shelf where the oil is supposed to be up to. That's how you know it's at the proper level. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the dipstick back in, fish it back down in there, put that on, tip it over, kind of tilt it back so it goes back in the crankcase a little bit. And we should be good. Go ahead and check the oil here. Now, like I said earlier, this is a really stupid design system, oil check. So sometimes it just drips out of the edge here, which this one's not going to today. So clean off the dipstick, and the dipstick has little holes on them. And you'll be able to see fluid in those holes if it's correct. So I don't know if you guys can see that too well, but there's fluid in every single one of those holes. So I have it at the right height oil amount, and you can see the shine or the sheen on the dipstick there all the way up top. So that means that the oil change is done. Now you have to do that every 50 hours, but realistically nobody keeps track of that. And I don't know about you guys, but that's way easier than mixing gas and oil, and definitely way cheaper. I mean, you can just use whatever's left over from your car. I like this Pennzoil Ultra synthetic stuff, but you don't have to use that. That's what I use. But yeah, very simple oil change, just like it's essentially the same as the Honda GX25 series engines, but just a little bit weirder dipstick. And I think the trimmers Makita has a trimmer as well, and I think the trimmers have the more user-friendly dipstick. But as you guys can see, really simple. That was kind of sludgy, but I've never changed oil in it before until besides the initial oil change. So there you guys go. That's how you do an oil change on a 4-cycle Makita BHX2500 leaf blower. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Alright guys, since I have it out, I may as well give you guys a quick little demonstration here. 4-cycle, no mixing of gas or oil. Go ahead and I got some leaves here. I'll blow up a little bit for you after this oil change. Alright guys, once again, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.